Good morning. I'm really looking forward to today. We've had a couple of days of quite heavy rain, so a lot of the lakes and lagoons up and down the coast will be filling up. Most of them have been blocked off from the ocean with a sandbar across the front. So as they fill up, and prior to them breaching and breaking out to that ocean, the fish hopefully will be gathering on the inside. So I'm going to move down the coast and have a look. I'm not sure at what stage they're at, whether they have breached at this stage, but I'm hoping they haven't, and the fish will be in there and I can throw some lures and hopefully pick up a few fish. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about it, and yeah, can't wait to get out there. It's still dark outside, so I'll get myself organised, get out there, and try and get down to at least the first one as it's starting to get light. Anyway, can't wait. Let's get into it. After a couple of days of solid rain, a lot of the little lakes and lagoons up and down the coast are breaching. In other words, they're breaking through the sandbar, which has isolated them from the ocean, some of them for a couple of months now. So I've come down this morning just to have a look and see if they've actually breached. Fishing out off these little lakes and lagoons when they're broken through is usually pretty good. You get often you'll get a lot of fish that will hang around in the surf, waiting for all the food that's coming out with that outgoing water. This morning, however, the surf is up around 6 meters, so it's probably not ideal surf fishing. But if the lagoons are still closed, there'll be a lot of fish waiting at the entrance to try and escape, waiting for that breach to happen. So I'm going to try and just have a look. This first one I'm looking at has breached. The water is actually running out. It must have breached yesterday, so it's coming through here, running out adjacent to the rocks. Just over here there would be a lot of fish just out the front here, I'm sure. However, that swell is really pumping in this morning, so it's not ideal for surf fishing. You can see it's running fairly well. A lot of rocks in amongst the sand here, and this has got a small catchment, this lagoon, so there's not the abundance of water that would be in some of the bigger estuary systems. You can see over here where it's cut that sand away. But yeah, so there's a lot of food going out there, and my bet is that there'll be a lot of fish just in that surf zone up the front. You can see here it's not it's not gouged out a hell of a lot. You can see over the other side there, it's cut out about 2 meters of sand, but you've got rocks underneath, so it's preventing it getting any deeper. If it was further that way, you're getting away from the rocks, and then it becomes tidal. After that, it cuts through the sand, quite a deep cutting, and then of course with the tides it starts coming in and out. Having said that, I'll move on to the next one further south. I've now come another 10 kilometers south to my next lagoon. 36 hours ago I was here. It was torrential rain, and it was certainly a lagoon that was isolated from the ocean. But now, check it out. It's the surf's coming into this lagoon. Water levels dropped substantially, and it's breached through the ocean sandbar, and it's completely different ecosystem now. It's completely different to what it was. The water was up to here 36 hours ago. There was mullet, flathead and everything in on this, what was shallow water right across here. But as you can see now, it's a good probably 30 metres wide. Water's still running out, very brown of course. I'm just wondering whether there'll be fish in around this area here. Might be worth throwing a couple of lures, surface lures perhaps, on top of the water and just see if anything happens. But I was hoping that it was still adjoined to the sandbar was still adjoined to the other side, and the fish would be gathering in around this area here. But that's not the case. Unfortunately I couldn't get here yesterday, otherwise I would have been here yesterday and tried to catch it before it ran out. But anyway, that's the nature of these cycles. This will in time close off again. As the ocean brings the sand in, it'll close it off. It'll be isolated again. Any fish or prawns or whatever that are in here will be isolated then from the ocean, where they will grow. But yeah, I might get my little lure and throw a couple of lures here, a couple of surface poppers, and just see what happens. Yeah, the water's running fairly quickly, so if there's any fish in here, they'll be doing it tough. So I've just moved a little further up. The water is very brown, but we'll give this a shot. Not running quite as quickly here. Seagulls getting out of the wind, landing on the sandbar over there, maybe looking for a bit of food that's washing down as well. There's still plenty of rain around.
All those seagulls over there on the sand just taken off. Obviously been spooked by something, or they're heading somewhere for a feed.
You can see some pelicans just up around the corner there. They seem to be feeding on something. I'm not sure what that would be. It's interesting. I'm not sure what these are. Look like squirtworm cases, but they're, yeah, it's like the sand is covered in them. Yeah, right through here. That's same, right through. That may have exposed a lot of worms. So I've changed my lure. This one's got a little bib on the front, so it'll just go a little bit deeper. Oh my god, I just had a hit. Not even sure what it was. It just pulled a couple of times, rose to the surface. I'll try again. Over the same spot. Well, it's not exactly what I expected this morning. I was hoping that this lagoon had not breached the sandbar at the entrance and that there'd be a lot of fish gathering around that spot because of all the fresh water that's pushing down from further upstream. However, that wasn't to be the case. The water here is very fresh. It's breached obviously yesterday. I couldn't get here yesterday, unfortunately. I had a family outing and I've missed it by a day. I thought there may be some estuary perch or some bass hanging in this fresh water down here, but I've had no luck. Had one hit, not sure what it was, felt a little like a flathead, but I lost it. It didn't hook up that well, and so now I'm going to move further down the coast, just a little bit further, and see if the next little river system has breached. If not, it'll be great. I'll get some lures in there and just see what's happening. Anyway, the rain is still coming intermittently. It's stopped at the moment, and I hope it just eases off over the next day or so. And a swell is quite big. It's pumping in there at the moment. Some of those waves are expected to be around 6 meters today. You see as the tide's rising here, it's starting to come up over this sandbar and running down, back down into the water here. Yeah, it's forever changing. Like this, these systems are forever changing, so you've got to keep your eye on it to ascertain what the hell's going on. Anyway, let's move to the next spot. I've now moved another 6 or 7 kilometers south. This was isolated. This little river here was isolated from the ocean, but again the rain yesterday busted it through. It's now running out to sea. Waves are coming in, so there's salt water coming in here, but there's still a lot of fresh water running out. I'm not going to bother throwing some lures in here because that water is still very fresh, so I might move a little bit further south and just see if the next lake is closed off still. It's a much bigger lake, much bigger sand dune at the front, so there is a chance that it won't have broken through us at this stage. With this waves pushing in here, it's going to push in a lot of fish and prawn spawn, a continuation of the cycle of the intermittently open and closed lake system. Well, I've arrived at the lake. It hasn't breached, and there seems to be a lot of fish gathering at the entrance.
And there's also a number of birds working the area.
Look at the fish in there. Thousands of them. This has yet to break through to the ocean, but there's an abundance of fish there. I'll get my poppers out and just see what can happen here. It looks fantastic. Let's see if we can sneak in here right at the entrance to the ocean. Just check out what's going on under the quickie. Look at this, they're all fish.
looking to get out to sea. This hasn't breached it yet. Just check them out. Freaking insane. Some huge mullet there. They're huge. Wide up in that shallow water. I reckon some of them will beach themselves. It's trying to get out. Going right back here. I don't think they'll take a lure. They're scrambling on top of one another. Look, they're everywhere. Right through here. There's thousands of them. And I'm not sure what they are, whether they're mullet or tailor. But it's just unbelievable. Now this hasn't reached this sandbar here. You can see a big sandbar, huge swirl coming up over that sandbar running in. These fish can obviously detect that water, that salt water coming in. This is very fresh here. Just check them out. They're on top of one another. But through there, I wonder if I can get in the water and see if they all actually come near me. Check this out. There's thousands of fish here. But I think they're mostly mullet. I thought there may have been a mixture of mullet and tailor, but I'm pretty sure they're mostly mullet. There's that many of them, but will they take a lure? It's absolutely amazing. They're breaking the surface for a good couple of 100 metres right along where the lake would normally run out to sea. I really don't need to say much. A picture tells 1,000 words. Walk across, if they had legs, these mullet would walk across that sandbar to get to the ocean. They're that keen. Anyway, I've got the GoPro out there in the water, hopefully getting some images. I'm sure I will. Anyway, some big fish there. Look at them down there. They're everywhere. Anyway, I'll go and retrieve the GoPro. Now these are sea mullet, also known as bully mullet. They really don't seem to have any fear about swimming up in this really shallow water.
can just about guarantee there'd be some big flathead in here ready to pounce on some of these mullet. The big flathead takes off at the top of the screen. So I guess the next step is to see if I could hook a couple of these things. There's a bit of debris in the water which is fouling up the action of the lure. Geez, that wind has really kicked in. Oh, here we go. Onto something here. I can bring him up on the beach. This is crazy. Whoa! Frick to run into you. I probably got him hooked in the side. Try and bring him up on the sand. It's a bully mullet or sea mullet, and it's certainly not hooked in the mouth. Oh, I'm on. Here we go. Oh, this is crazy. At least this one's hooked in the mouth. Ah, damn, I've lost him. And the lure. I've put another crankbait on now. Well, here we go. I'm into another one. Oh dear, he threw the hook.
Come back.
I've got to be really careful here. I'm only using 4-pound line. Damn, I can't believe I lost another one.
Here we go again.
Whoa, this one's got some fight in him. Woo! You little ripper.
Oh, slippery fella.
Oh well, here we go. Into another one before I go. I'm really going to have to watch he doesn't take me around that stump out there. Oh look, there's a big eel out there. Oh, finally another one landed. I think I've lost more though than I've caught.
So I ended up landing 4 bully mullet or sea mullet. The biggest was 46 centimetres and weighing in at 1.1 kilo.
To watch more videos similar to this, make sure you subscribe, like and share. Thanks for watching.